Here we go. What's going on, guys? The Buzz here. Back with the first game for Inter this season, as the rest of the Serie A got a start last Saturday, but Inter started a week later because we played the Europa League final. And our match today was against Fiorentina, which was a pretty interesting and eye-opening game, but it had its positives and its negatives. I'll do a match review, talk a little bit about Milan Skriniar's situation, potentially if he should go, what will happen there. Maybe we might bring in somebody else, and then as well as maybe some improvements we could note, because we still have 1 week left until the transfer window closes. So, the match. This saw us win 4-3 against Fiorentina, with goals coming from Lautaro Martinez, who looks a bit back on form, better from the second half of last season. An own goal, Romelu Lukaku scoring, and Daniele D'Ambrosio scoring. So, this match starts off with us conceding in the 3rd minute, which I didn't know Christian Barighi was on loan from Fiorentina. Baraghi was on loan from Fiorentina. But he picks out a pass in the 3rd minute to Bonaventura, who recently left AC Milan to join Fiorentina, and it ends up passing off to Kamani, that's his name. And it ends up going in the 3rd minute with Kolarov in the back, which I'll also touch on the back three as well. This also saw us line up with a 3-4-1-2 to accommodate Christian Eriksen, which saw us start off with Handanovic, Daniele D'Ambrosio, Alexander Kolarov in the middle, and Alessandro Bastoni. Divides out through suspension with Milan Skriniar on the bench, Rajan Angolan on the bench, Arturo Vidal on the bench, Sensi on the bench as well. Our midfield was Ashley Young, Brozovic, Barella, and I forgot who the other person was. Perisic. Yeah, I also saw Perisic starting as well in the left wing back position, who was loaned out to Bayern Munich because Conte didn't think he could suit that role. So we'll see what happens there. And then Christian Eriksen in the number 10 playmaker role, Caista role, with Lukaku and Martinez up top. And a lot of people were kind of not concerned, but a little bit off, as it's the first game of the season, and you want to start off with your strongest team. So you want to start off with Rajan Angolan, Vidal, and Hakimi mostly starting. But they later came on as subs. Barella got booked in the 5th minute for a high ball on Frank Ribery. There was a PK disallowed in the 17th minute on Lautaro Martinez. Fiorentina, in the first half, had a lot of chances and a lot of shots. Ribery had one. Milinkovic, the center back, had one. Kamani had one. Christian Baraghi had one that he literally thought should have gone in. His miss. Milinkovic missed header. Federico Chiesa, for as much as how much hype and talk there is around Federico Chiesa, he kind of did show up this match with 2 goal line clearances, which he tracked all the way back into his own half whenever we tried to score one and made a goal line clearance. I was like, wow. A few chances. There were a few chances that we did create, such as one to Ashley Young for the back post on Lukaku, which he misses. Brozovic's attempt at the back post missed as well. But Lautaro Martinez is able to bag it up and score it in the 45th minute, right in extra time, or 45 minutes plus 2 extra minutes added on. So we go in the lead 1-1. Now, this match, right at the second half, we line up with the same lineup. Basically, Fiorentina's looking to counterattack us. Right at the second half, we end up getting Fiorentina ends up conceding an own goal off of Lautaro Martinez's attempt on goal, which ends up bouncing off of the center back and their goalkeeper who can't do anything to save it. Fiorentina's second goal comes off of a counterattack with basically Frank Ribery just dribbling past, not most of our defense, but literally skinning Daniele D'Ambrosio to find Federico Chiesa and just slot him through. The third goal that they end up scoring is oh wait no, no, it was a counterattack goal which Frank Ribery scored on his own. No, it was the third goal. Yeah, Fiorentina's third goal, where he basically skinned Daniele D'Ambrosio to find Federico Chiesa, which Federico Chiesa does a little mini chip, and it goes past Handanovic. Right at this moment, that's whenever Antonio Conte decides to sub off Christian Eriksen and Ashley Young and bring on Sensi and Hakimi. Now, this substitution right here kind of did, because I actually did watch the game back before, this actually did bring a bit more balance, because you have Hakimi who has enough pace to basically kind of control and be able to keep up with Frank Ribery if he's trying to go down the line, as well as Sensi, who's coming on, which basically just goes back to a 3-5-2. Because for some reason, Christian Eriksen just looked lackluster, as well as Brozovic looked lackluster in this game. His passes were off. Eriksen's passes were off. He tried to do too much, tried to create. He tried. There was one attempt where he tried crossing, and it literally went to nobody, and just went out for a goal kick for Fiorentina. Yeah, I don't know. He's had a bit of struggle, even when he came in January last season, he's had a bit of a struggle. Brozovic just looked off, passings off, tackles. Although he did have a good attempt near the back post, but besides that, he just looked lackluster. It looks. I had tweeted. I was like, this literally looks like a team that's basically not even match fit ready. And even though Fiorentina played a game before us with the 1-0 victory against Torino, but you'd think this team would be a lot sharper, especially for an Antonio Conte side who struggles mainly on fitness and trying to get the best out of his players. But with Sensi and Hakimi coming on, there was a bit more control of the ball. Lukaku ends up missing a big chance in the 76th minute where he's able to spin one of Fiorentina's defenders on the ground, but yet magically their keeper makes a good save. Now that chance was a pretty big chance. After that, you end up seeing Vidal and Rajan Angolan come on. That's when you see Barella and Brozovic come off. And Brozovic looked frustrated and flustered, which, to be fair, it's not up to his usual standard. After the introduction of Vidal and Raja, which basically those two, their tackles, they were going in for recovery tackles and everything. The depth that this squad has and the depth that we have this season compared to last season is immense. We're able to bring on Sensi, Hakimi, Vidal, and Rajan Angolan. Two basically destroyers. Oh my god. I talked to my friend Sharma about this. I'm like, Vidal and Angolan together in midfield, that's going to destroy the Serie A. Because, that midfield too, my god. Oh, the combinations we'll have this season for selections will be interesting. Kimi, Oh, and then it's Perisic, and right after Vidal and Angolan are come in, Alexis Sanchez is brought on for Ivan Perisic. And we were able to tie it up with Hakimi basically crossing it and finding Lukaku, who bangs it, makes it 3-3. And basically the game winner with Alexis Sanchez finding Daniele D'Ambrosio near the back post with 2 minutes left to go. In classic Inter fashion, we end up coming back through a stressful mountain roller coaster of a game where literally everyone's already getting ready, because I saw it, everyone's like, oh, Conte's getting his excuses ready. Conte's getting ready for some excuses. Oh, well, we've given him what he wants. He's going to come out with excuses now. So, yeah, we end up basically kind of just, I started tweeting out in all caps, Daylight Robbery FC, Hijack FC, because we end up magically coming back last minute FC, coming in the last 2 minutes of the game. But there are areas to improve and areas of concern. Christian Eriksen in the 3-4-1-2 just, it doesn't seem to work, especially against Fiorentina, who didn't seem to really play. There were a good 15 minutes before Rajan Angolan and Vidal came on where Fiorentina were playing just compact and narrow in the middle of the pitch, where we would have to either get it out wide. And I can see why he took off Young, because his crosses weren't going in as good, and on top of that, trying to get the transition on the right side. But Christian Eriksen just didn't look good today. That's one thing I have written down. Center back partnership. That center back partnership, it literally screams out for Skriniar, but we don't know what his future is. It really misses De Vrij, though. Like a person in the middle, because Kolarov, my God, made a few errors. Ugh. And then Bastoni, though, was pretty good. But, I mean, there's always room for improvement. Some good improvements that can be taken from is squad depth. We have a bigger squad, or more depth than we did last season. A few better players, bringing in Arturo Vidal, Hakimi, bringing back Rajan Angon, who I felt should have more or less stayed last season. And, having Alexis Sanchez, another attacking option. Having Sensi, another midfield option as well. Which hopefully, and Sensi did look pretty good for a few good, for the minutes that he did play. Hopefully he's able to regain his form like he did last season. And maybe not get injured by November time. Because, if this, we can seriously challenge for the Scudetto this season. But, it's basically all or nothing. The Scudetto or bust, basically. Some other areas for improvement. Yeah, the 3-4-1-2 doesn't look like it's going to work. And honestly, Christian Eriksen's probably going to have to adapt. Either that or more or less I can see Antonio Conte probably playing Sensi a bit more since he actually got into tackles. He fought to recover the ball. He's pretty calm and patient on the ball. Christian Eriksen tries to do a lot, but he doesn't need to do a lot, if that makes sense. He's fine if you just do a few passes here and there. The center back partnership, it's still early to say. Again, this is our first game, so it can be tweaked. The players are still going to work, and probably Conte's going to go over the game and just highlight areas that need to be improved, such as this. I also did want to note something that I would love for someone to interview Antonio Conte and ask, because in typical this Inter team, especially last season, I noticed it a lot. When we play a 3 at the back, or here I'll use 3, it'll be De Vrij in the middle. It can be Milan Skriniar right here, Bastoni here, or Godin here, De Vrij here, or no, it'd be Skriniar here. Yeah, it'd be either Skriniar or Godin. De Vrij here, Bastoni here, D'Ambrosio here, De Vrij here, Bastoni here. Always, it is the two center backs, the left center back and the right center back, always making overlapping runs, constantly making overlapping runs. Daniele D'Ambrosio did it a few times. Bastoni was pushed up. And it's typical, and I've noticed this a lot if it's really his instructions, because we haven't gotten caught out with the over-the-top ball or getting caught from in behind with strikers running through our defense. But I always notice that whenever we go one down, whenever we're trying to recover the ball, we always have center backs overlapping, trying to get balls into the box, which I wonder how that's going to work. But I also noticed with Kolarov, we have Kolarov, Sensi, Eriksen, Young, Hakimi. I forgot who else can take set pieces. Well, we have a lot of set piece takers, though. So that's a plus, because now we can try and score more headers, more for set pieces, which I think is what Conte probably also brought Kolarov in for. The Milan Skriniar situation is basically Milan Skriniar was left on the bench throughout the entire 90 minutes. He didn't get a talk, and there's talk of him potentially going to Tottenham Hotspurs to go link up with Jose Mourinho. With this, and we're supposedly reportedly going for Milinkovic of Fiorentina, who I think did play against us. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at the lineup. But for this, we end up getting rid of Godin, who's only here for basically a year, which is pretty interesting as he's off to Cagliari. I don't know where Inter fans sit on this. Personally, I'd actually like Milan Skriniar to stay. He's still young, or I think he's like in his mid-20s at least. Still time, and I understand Antonio Conte wants to go for Linkovic and potentially might try and push for N'Golo Conte of Chelsea, but Milan Skriniar is still a good center back. 50 mil is a bit low, or to some people that's a bit low. Others it seems about right because of the whole COVID situation and pricing. I'd like him to try and work with him. Maybe, if not, on top of this too, he has Alexander Kolarov and he has Hakimi, who he can maybe try and work with a back four, because this 3-4-1-2 really ain't gonna work. Because if Christian Eriksen really's struggling, I'd like to see how the next match is against Benevento. I was about to say Benevento, which actually I'll do a match prediction on that because I won't be able to cover. I won't be able to cover the Benevento game because it's like in the morning and I'll be off doing something. So, but I'll be sure to cover the match that we play on Sunday. But yeah, with the Milan Skriniar situation, I'd like Milan Skriniar to stay. But I can see why Antonio Conte probably wants him to go. He doesn't fit his style, but again, this is a young center back, which even then still you can probably get a lot more if he has a good season if you just try and work with him. But hey, give Antonio Conte what he wants. If it doesn't work out, he's more than likely probably going to leave at the end of the season. That's my match review. 4-3. Crazy start to the season, which don't think any of us saw. I saw it being a 3-1, which I did predict Lukaku scoring and Hakimi assisting. So I'm happy about that because Hakimi did assist Lukaku's goal. So pat on the back for me. The squad I'd like to actually us to line up with is I'd actually like to see us start with a full-strength team just to see how it is. So in the back I'd have Handanovic in goal, of course. Bastoni at the left center back position. Stefan de Vrij in the middle. Wow, who do you get to play the right? Out of the center backs we have. Daniele D'Ambrosio. Oh yeah, we're going in 3-5-2. This I can imagine. Hakimi on the right side. Nainggolan, Sensi, Barella. The left side, Perisic, and on the front two, Lukaku and Martinez. Just to get some minutes there, just to see how that works out, and then maybe swap. And I don't know, he can make whatever substitutions he wants to make. But yeah, that's how I'd line up against Benevento. For that score, for that match, I'm gonna go us winning not 3-1. You never know with Inter. My God, you never know. It's literally like the mystery hat. You never know. I'll go at 4-0. 4-0 to Inter. But there are still areas to improve. Again, this is our first game compared to the other teams. For us and Atalanta, of course, barring other teams. This is their second game, so... And while, still we've won the match, we also need to be able to criticize and talk about areas we need to improve, of course. Because still, with us having 1 week left in the transfer window, it closing by next Sunday, we still have a chance to at least make a bit of a difference for how we're going to go about this season. Me personally, I didn't make a video talking about season preview or objectives, but the objective this season, it seems to be with Conte and the board, Scudetto 110%, go straight in for the Scudetto, so Scudetto or bust this season. If you haven't checked out my last video with me and Sharma talking about 5 things Antonio Conte needs to change to be successful this season and winning the Scudetto, give that video a look. It's on my channel, as well as check out my friend Uncle Sharma's channel. But one more thing I would highlight and predict or call out is hopefully Antonio Conte doesn't complain this much this season, because you've been given all the tools you have. Go out there, carry on. You're not new to management. It's not Juventus where they got Pirlo and they can use the excuse of he's a new manager. It's his first time managing. You're a seasoned manager. You've won at Chelsea in your first season. You've done good with the Italian national squad. You got a second last season in the Europa League final. So you can only go up from here. You can't go down. So the pressure's on. But hopefully you can do it. I'm Buzz. This is my match review of Fiorentina versus Inter. And I'll see you guys Sunday. Or not Sunday. Next Monday. For my match review of the game we play on Sunday. And hopefully we beat Benevento. Keep wanting to say Beneventura. Hopefully we beat Benevento, and hopefully it's another dub. We continue on. Leave your comments below on what you think. Leave a like and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.